Dear beloved, welcome back. This week we celebrate the visitation, and I love this feast so much. It's one of my favorite mysteries to meditate on in the mysteries of the Rosary because it's just so human. Have you ever thought of just how human it is that Mary, she hears of her cousin, also with child, being pregnant, that she jumps up in haste and runs through the hill country and goes all the way there while pregnant herself in the first trimester, which you can imagine is pretty terrible if you're a mom, um, to be running through the hill country on foot to go and help out her cousin, and just be in community with her. Mary recognizes that she's probably going to be alone and that you probably shouldn't be alone when you're about to have a baby. So, alone as in alone among women, her husband was around, but you know what I mean? It's all about community and coming together and supporting each other's needs, which is just so human. Everyone has a need for community. We're built with this need for community, right? And I love how Mary is so in tune with her nature and our nature that she was able to recognize immediately that Elizabeth needed community in that moment and that she was the one to do it. She didn't wait and write a letter to her friends and all get together and talk about, okay, this person needs community. What are we going to do about it? She knew she was the woman for the job and she got up and went. And you want to know what else? Like, I imagine that Mary also felt that she needed community in that moment. She just found out that she was pregnant with God, that she just said yes to God to have his word be done in her. And she does this, and I can't imagine how much time she's had to process this all. And then she gets the news in that same breath that, you are now with child and the Holy Spirit will come upon you and you have conceived Jesus. And in that same breath, she hears that, oh, well, so your cousin is with child. And so without really processing her own miracle that was occurring in her, she gets up and goes to witness another miracle. And I can only imagine that she also knew that she needed Elizabeth in that moment. She needed someone else who understood, who could see what she was going to go through, not necessarily in the sense that she would 100% get that she was visited by an angel and is now carrying the Messiah, but I don't know if she could have imagined that Elizabeth would be so knowing and accepting of that as she is, but definitely in her state of being pregnant, that she wanted to be seen in that, in a healthy and good way. Because as you can imagine, in those times, not being married and pregnant is not good. There are a lot of things that would be considered better than that. So I can just imagine the need that Mary had as well at the same moment that she understood that Elizabeth had a need for community. And that just gives me so much hope and like peace, because Mary's so human, right? And we know that and we love that about her. But she also shows us how to be human. And she shows us that community is so important. And it makes me think of the visitation, always makes me think of where is my community at? How can I better serve my community? What can I do to XYZ, help community, help those who don't find themselves in community, have community, and things like that. And this year, I am just kind of struck with the community that it takes to become saints. And as you know, my theme for this year, maybe you don't know, but my theme for this year is let's be saints, right? Let's be saints. Why not? Like, let's come together and learn from each other and become saints. Let's, come together in community, help each other be better and call each other on. Like, let's be saints, but let's be saints together. Like, let's bring in this aspect of community, because just like we can't be saints without and not through our vocations, we need community around us. Some of the most amazing saints had community around them who are also saints, or who are some really holy people. Even some siblings are saints, which I think is so cool and so telling of their family and how they were raised and the things that they had to overcome in order to be saints is just so cool. One family in particular that I just think is a great example is the Martins, Saint Therese's family. So Saint Therese was the first saint out of all of them, and she's the little flower, and she's probably the most well-known saint of them all. But her sisters, all of the rest of them also became nuns, most of them with her in Carmel, but one of them not in Carmel. I can't remember what order she joined after her father died. But regardless, they were all saints, and now a few of them are actually canonized. They were all nuns, but now actually a few of them are canonized alongside Saint Therese. And what else is really, really neat is that her parents, Louis and Zélie Martin, are also canonized saints. They were the first couple to be canonized together as a couple. So, I mean, how amazing is that? There have been saints who have been married, right? That their vocation was marriage. Not all saints were religious or priests or virgins, right? Or not in any state of life necessarily, but there are some that have been married. But Zélie and Louis Martin are the prime example of a married couple in their union of marriage, in their vocation, that led them to become saints. And so they were canonized on the same day as a married couple, which is like so cool, in my opinion. So that all illustrates that it is in community that we also become saints. And it's not just in community, in our immediate community. I think that is amazing and a huge part of it. But it's also that we are in the communion of saints as well. The communion of saints are on our side if our desire is truly to become saints like them. Every time we go to Mass, the whole communion of saints is there present, and the choirs of angels are there present. And so if you are struggling with community or don't really feel like you have a community yet, or one that you feel super comfortable with yet, you can go to church and you can go to Mass and be surrounded by the communion of saints and just ask them to be your community then, and ask them to be your community to help you become a saint as well. I think that is highly overlooked a lot of times, that they are also present at every celebration of the Mass. And of course, we can have our patron saints who we ask the intercession of more frequently, and etc. But why not have the power of the whole communion of saints behind you, right? Amazing. Yes, but in our community, in our human community, because it's super important that we also have human community around us, how can we be better in showing up for our communities? How can we cultivate community in our immediate area or in our lives? Or how can we invite someone else into community? How can we do all of these things, right? Let's be saints together. Let's be saints together. Let's go in haste to help our fellow man. Let's be good examples for each other, right? Let's hold on to the truth and seek it with every breath that we have. Let's support each other in the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let's call each other up and towards heaven. Because that's truly what community is all about. If community is around just for community's sake, or the purpose of community is to go down a path that is not serving you or helping you become a saint, then it probably isn't the community to be in. And that once you find a community that is also striving for sainthood and striving for the truth and striving for love and community in all of that, hold on to them, because that is a huge, huge blessing. And continue to pour back into that. Because as we know, we can't pour from an empty cup, but also community can become a well that's dried up if people aren't constantly pouring back into the community as well. So in the coming weeks, we're going to talk about more practicals on how to build community, and here's some stories about how other people have built community in the past and things like that, and how they're actively cultivating community in their lives. And I hope that this serves you in helping you have some ideas of where to and how to build community in your own life and your own communities. Until next time.